Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, and back to my page if you're watching on Facebook. My name is Adekola Obele and this is Rewriting Your Story. Now let's get down to a simple conversation. Today I'll be speaking about a subject I have titled Nurturing Those Ideas. Nurturing those ideas. Ideas are actually those things that lead to every word that we say. There's actually no word that we say out of our mouth that did not have a split second conception in our mind. Before you say the next word, somewhere in your mind, you have actually thought about it. You have thought about the idea. Even if the English is not correct, you already know what you want to say. But all you just have to do is to push it out. That is what we are talking about today. But speaking about idea today, we are speaking in the concept of the ideas that leads to the word that make the meaning in our life, that makes those difference. The idea that we conceptualize, like the idea that led to the discovery of the incandescent bulb, like the idea that led to Dangote building the largest refinery in the world, or name it, the idea of Mike Adenuga saying that he wants to have a telecommunication company, or the idea that even our president today said it is actually his turn to become the president. Let's get down to the topic. Let's look at it from a practical angle. And I'll be using two examples. Both are farmers. There's a farmer who has a poultry and a farmer who has a corn or yam farm. Now, the farmer who had poultry, I'm not talking about the automated poultry of today. I'm talking about the traditional poultry where the rooster has to mate with the chicken and fertilize the chicken, and for those eggs to become the new chicks. Do you have an idea of how those particular chicken, those local chicken, how they are being formed? Now let me tell you a little about them in case you don't know. The chicken, after being fertilized by the rooster, starts to lay the egg until maybe a certain number of eggs that have been fertilized in the womb, let me use the word womb, of the chicken had been laid. After laying those eggs, the chicken will go back to that place and will brood over those eggs, incubate those eggs with her body heat for 21 days. 21 good days of dedication, of hard work, of tilling the ground, of doing things that you cannot see the result, of planting, putting the roots in place, putting the foundation in place of what you can see. Those are the stages of faith. The second example is for a farmer who wants to plant a corn or a yam. What they do is they prepare the best of the seed that still has attachment up to the maize cob, and they pick those seeds out painstakingly. They pick them out, as in they are very intentional about the seed, the quality of the seed that they pick. It is the best of the qualities of the seed, the matured seed. Those are the seeds that the farmer will pick. The farmer picks the seed and prepare them. If they need to coat it in some sort of fertilizer, they coat it in fertilizer, they till the ground, make heaps. The same thing for the yam. The best of the tubers of yam is what is being set aside to plant a yam. If many of us should experience or see what it takes to grow a yam, you'll probably say that this thing cannot work. They coat it in ashes, bury it under the heap in a certain fashion. If it is not following that fashion, the yam will not germinate. They put it in a certain fashion and allow it to stay under the ground. The process of cutting it, the process of coating it in ashes, the process of sorting, those are the places of uncertainty. Those are the places where inputs are going into this idea, into this idea that has been conceived. Now, let me provide another dimension to this example. If somebody had picked one of the hen that is being brooded over and had cracked it before 21 days, That is a destiny truncated. That is a chicken that will never come to life. A chicken that we will never know the color of the chicken, and we will never know how much it will be sold in the market. We will never know who is going to eat such chicken, because that idea has been truncated. The same thing if the farmer who planted the corn or the yam was impatient and could not wait. A corn takes average of 3 to 5 days for it to sprout out from the ground. I'm not sure about the yam. I think a yam takes a little longer than that before it starts sprouting out of the ground. If the farmer should within those 3 to 5 days start looking at it, let me even see, why is this thing not coming up, and pull out the corn seed from the ground, that is a corn that we will never know. We will never know the taste of such corn, because even both the seed that has gone into the ground and the plant that you have taken away, you will never know the result that that particular corn could produce at any point in time. The same thing with the yam. If the person that planted the yam is not patient enough and just goes and uproots the yam before it starts sprouting, that is another generational failure. This is practical and happening to us every day. We conceive an idea, and simply because we are not seeing result, we uproot it. How do we uproot it? We abandon it and jump on another one. This happens a lot with the people who call themselves the multi-talented individual. Yes, you are multi-talented, but there must be a certain skill that resonates loudest with you. There must be a certain skill that resonates loudest with you. I repeated it twice intentionally. That particular skill that resonates with you loudest, you need to first of all build it. Even in those times when you keep putting in resources and you are not seeing the result, you have to continue to put in resources. You have to continue to do it, since it is something you are sure about. It is an idea that you have spoken about. You have conceived the idea and you have spoken to it. You need to now continue to do it. Now, how do you nurture your idea? Let's go back to the idea of the chicken, the corn, and the yam. If those plants that you have planted into the ground, the corn and the yam, if it should sprout, let's say it has not sprouted, and you refuse to weed it, you refuse to add fertilizers, you refuse to check on it from time to time, to add pesticide when you notice that there is pest coming around it, you refuse to do all those things, it is still the same thing as you actually weeding them out when they are yet to sprout. That is proper nurturing. Idea nurturing requires time, it requires commitment, it requires your presence every time, at every stage, at every phase of the business. The only time when an idea becomes something that you really do not need to sit with is when you have been able to grow it to an extent that you put a structure in place, a structure that can allow the business to run from generation to generation. And this is what is wrong in so many businesses in Nigeria. The idea that makes those businesses to run continuously are not there. The Bible says Abraham was great, Isaac was greater, Jacob was exceedingly great. That is the order and the design of God. But most of us, we are not maximizing that. That is an entirely different topic for another day, or an entirely different session. Most of these things that I'm teaching on this channel are not even things that I can't fully express the entire line. And that is why most of the time I say you can comment, you can engage. If you require me to throw more lights on some things, I can throw more lights on it and let you understand a little bit or more of where I'm coming from. Like I said in my previous video, and I will continue to emphasize, I am not yet there. I am still traveling on that trajectory, and I'm looking at things, I'm observing what is happening based on the fact that I have this burden to actually push out part of what I'm actually observing, and I'm looking at ensuring that I do better with my children, that my children are able to do better than me, and their children do better than them, and create a generational wealth system, or a generational successful system. back to the topic. Like I said, that topic is another topic for another day. When you conceptualize an idea, I know you may be asking me that all these things are theories, and I'll give you one practical example. When you conceptualize an idea, you have an idea in mind. You want to execute something. I want to produce an electric fan. I want to produce a TV. I want to produce a phone. The first thing you should do after conceiving that idea, which is the point of fertilization. Fertilization occurs when that thing came to you and this is what I want to do. The first thing you should do is do your research. It's so good and so easy now. Your research is staring right at you in the face. You are holding it almost 18 out of 24 hours of a day. You hold your phone is close to you, and there is a very simple, easy, cheap, free search engine called Google. How to manufacture a pencil, how to manufacture an electric fan, how to manufacture a TV. Those are for concepts that has previously existed. Now, let me drive something new. There is nearly nothing really extremely new that you want to really create. Everything has a root. Somebody has done some sort of background work for you. Even Elon Musk to think of traveling to the moon and doing something. Elon Musk is not the first person to travel to create something that makes people travel to the moon. He's only building on what has been existing. Elon Musk created an electrical car, but not a car. Elon Musk is not the first person to create a car, and he's not even the only manufacturer of electric car. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. Those ideas are already somewhere out there. Like, the unique thing about ideas is that it cannot all be the same. We will have different ideas. Even for the people talking on the internet, people motivating people, people teaching people, we teach about different things. Somebody is teaching about relationships, somebody is teaching about money, somebody is teaching about business, somebody is teaching about career, somebody is teaching about lifestyle. We teach about different things, and all these things can run concurrently on their own without anyone affecting the other. Without any affecting the other. This is the same thing with you today. That thing that you have thought of. That's why I said the first thing you need to do is do your research. A lot of people think that, this is just theory. Okay, if I now finish doing my research, where do I get the money? Money is one of the last things that you need to actually run. Yes, I mean it. Money is not the first thing. It's one of the last input that you bring into place. Even if you have money and you want to rush into an idea to create something, it will be a waste of money. Any idea that you do not nurture will die. Whatever you do not take your time to work on will die. Like I was saying about the issue of weeding out the plant before it sprouts out, or weeding it out when it has grown, or cracking the egg while it's still being brooded on. All those things are in our day-to-day life, because we do not have the spirit of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, I say it again, that spirit is required in you almost every day. This is something that should be at the forerunner of your creativity. Be patient. Be ready to wait and watch things grow. A lot of people are rushing today. They want to drive the car that a 40 years old, a 50 years old guy is driving, without wanting to put in the inputs or work that can translate to that. Yes, there are people who are legitimately driving those cars with a business idea that they are doing, a legitimate business. That is a different case. But I'm talking about people who decide to go into fraudulent and dubious activities in order to achieve those are not those. Anytime you conceive such idea, you should abort it immediately. Yes, those are the seed to be aborted. Abort it, weed it out, because they do not last. It is a terrain that has been tested over and over. and it has continued to fail, and you won't be an exception. Such ideas will fail you on a long run. Back to the subject. After you have done your research and you are now at the point where you want to execute, find out look for your target market. Who are the people that will work fine for you? You can't say that you want to be an high-end fashion designer and you are not trying to create connection with people on the high end. You just want to stay in a local area. You want to stay in a community where you know that everybody is just like on the low class average. You will not be able to achieve that which you are set out to do. You must be able to create your clientele across such board. Do you understand? In order for you to achieve it. Now, after finding out your target market, the people you want to push your market towards, the next thing you should do is now start looking for that finance. And let me tell you something. Yes, back to the finance. Let me give you an idea. There was somebody that I know that wanted to start a factory. He had a technical know-how. He had some level of experience. He has worked in a company that produces that item, and he thinks this is something I can do. After he did his research, he didn't have the financial resources. Now let me break an ice before I finally complete this line. Everybody that you need for anything, they are probably just 4 or 5 phone calls away at most. In most cases, they are 1 or 2, 3 phone calls away. In most cases. But the thing is that we either keep quiet to ourselves and stay defeated when we have not even tried to rise up to the challenges. We are filled with the ideology of what if it will not fail? What if it will not work? What if it works? What if it works? Why not think about that? Be positive. That is why I said you should be conscious of the things that you say. That's why I say you should declare positivity to yourself every day. So always come from the positive angle. And I put something on my Facebook page during this weekend, and I said you need to be conscious of those within your cycle. I'm just paraphrasing, because they determine a lot about you. And that is the truth. If you're in a company of naysayer, what you will get, the solution they will offer to you are no's. They have plenty no's in their mouth. They can tell you 1 million reasons why that your idea is too expensive and why it will not work, why you will never be able to do it. They will push that financial challenge into your face. They will tell you that you have to go to the bush to get this thing done. They will tell you all the things that are very, very daring. That things are very, very negative, and that will kill it for you. You need to look at the people in your cycle. You need to associate with people who are positive, who are engineering towards getting better and getting greater. You need to intimate yourselves with materials that make you better. On a final note, let me conclude on my example and put this topic to a rest. So what he did was that he approached a couple of people who knew people who might have the financial resources, and those guys, they brought in money for this business, reading the business plan that he had in place. The business plan was fantastic, was beautiful. The guy had captured the market, had captured the technical know-how, had captured every inch and every square of what is going to happen. And those people that had the money invested into the business. He was able to come up with some sort of good arrangement in terms of shareholding structure and director remuneration. And he started the business. And today the business is a multi-million-dollar business in this country, in this Nigeria. So the thing is that if you continue to look at the things that will not work, you will never see what will work. When you continue to see things that are bad, you will never be able to see what is right. Pastor Sam Adeyemi did make an example. If you bring your hand, bring it close to your eyes. I can't see this phone now, and I can't see beyond my hand at this point in time, or maybe just ground and a little bit of the side. That is what I can see. That is the power of focus. When you focus on the negative thing, you can't see all the positive things that are there. When you focus on the positive things too, you can't see all the negative things around you. Your focus determines what you see. And let me now tell you a final straw. My final straw is that the idea that sells the most, the word that actually have impact most in our lives, in the lives of people, are negative words. It is so funny. Those things don't require work. The devil just picks it up and work with it and help you work on it. The moment you actually say it, it does not. It's the positive one that the devil is fighting and trying to ensure that, or the force of nature, for the people who will say devil, whatever. The force of nature is trying to fight those ones that you are saying that are positive. They are not allowing it to just go straight. So that is how this whole thing works. And on this note, I will be bringing this topic to a pause for now. I hope you understand now better how to nurture your idea and how to do better with yourself as you go further. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those who have subscribed, and do have a wonderful day.